Hey guys, Truetalk here, and today we're going to be talking about episode 11 of Black Lightning that aired earlier tonight. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is the opening of the episode. We see that the pods have been moved, and Vice Principal Foudy and I guess the ASA scientists are discussing, the stability of the pods, and she was asking him if, everything is okay and if they're stable. And the scientist is explaining that one of them is not stable. And later on in the episode, we see him kind of freak out, and I assume is that the pod and the person inside the pod went unstable, and the child or student or whoever it was in the pod died as a result. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm still interested to see what these pods are going to end up being. Like, are we going to have a whole batch of metahumans, in Freeland, once Black Lightning ultimately saves these pods, or, gets them out of the hands of the ASA and such? Or, is something bad going to happen and they're all going to pass away? Or, alternatively, are they going to be saved, have powers, and then Gamby or whoever's going to find a way to reverse their powers or something to that effect? So the next thing that I'm going to talk about in this episode is Jefferson getting arrested by the police due to Vice Principal Foudy giving the police, I guess, evidence to plant. So we see Jefferson, a normal day, being the good principal that he is, and, talking to these kids. And we see the police pull up to the school, search his car, plant green light in his car, and additionally they search his office and plant green light in his office in order to have him arrested and booked in the jail for the ASA to then, take care of him, or to, truly find out if he is Black Lightning and such. So this is interesting. I wasn't necessarily thinking that this would be how or why they would have him arrested, but now that I think about it, it makes the most sense, because someone claiming that he's Black Lightning wouldn't be enough for the police to arrest him. So I think this was the, I guess, best option for the time being, and what they could plant on him in order for him to get arrested and put in the jail system. The next thing that I want to talk about is the continuing trend of new technology happening every so often, or every couple episodes. In this episode, we see that Gamby has constructed or put together a hologram that Anissa is able to use to try to trick Freeland into thinking that Black Lightning is still out there when Jefferson is in jail. And in addition to that, we see that he has rigged his van to be a self-driving van. So this is interesting, and maybe will come in handy later on or in future seasons if they ever need a hologram of Black Lightning to be running around while Jefferson is doing his thing, to kind of put the doubt, or, make sure that people don't think that he's Black Lightning. So this could be handy in the future of this show. The last thing that I want to talk about is director Henderson. So in this episode, we see that Henderson doesn't believe for a second that Black Lightning is, peddling drugs through the school, like the dirty cops are saying. And because we know that Henderson knows that there are dirty cops in his department. So he's very suspicious of these people, and we see him not buy, their evidence at all. So we see that he's going to be trying to help Jefferson in this episode, and we see him kind of, I don't want to say blackmail, but he kind of uses information that he's able to get to leverage one of the cops that planted the evidence to get him to confess and implicate the other cop, who I think the name was Chief Kamen, or Director Chief Kamen. And we see at the end of the episode that those, I guess, two officers that planted the evidence are arrested and taken into custody. The other thing that happened in this episode is that after all this occurrence, we see that Director Henderson has now been promoted to Director Chief Henderson and now has a more prominent role in the police department. I enjoy that this changed, but I foresee that he's going to become a target of the ASA now that he has, taken out their cops that are on their payroll out of the system or out of the police department. So either he's going to be forced to, I guess, comply or become a target of the ASA, which is not really good for Henderson, but I think Black Lightning will prevail in the end, and I think there will be a great relationship between the two. Also in this episode, when Henderson came to Black Lightning asking him, why is this happening to you? I almost thought that Black Lightning was going to tell him, I almost thought that Jefferson was going to tell him that he's Black Lightning, but he didn't, and I think this is cool, and again, we saw that Henderson was able to achieve his goal and help Jefferson even without the information. Now let's look at the episode description for next week's episode, episode 12. The Resurrection and the Light, the Book of Pain. The Return of Whale. Tobias returns to Freeland. So, as we saw from the trailer for next episode as well, we're going to see that Tobias has returned. I'd be interested to see if they're going to explain why he's been absent the past couple episodes. I'm going to assume that he was away trying to get into the ASA or take over Lady Eve's spot, as I was thinking before, what his goal is to become part of this organization. So it's interesting to see if there's going to be an explanation as to why he was not in Freeland. He is tasked to capture, not kill, Black Lightning with the help of an unexpected source. So he's obviously going to be tasked with capturing capturing Black Lightning. So I want to say that this may be his, initiation task. Once he's able to catch Black Lightning, he can become a part of the organization. That would be something interesting to see. In terms of the help from an unexpected source, maybe the source could be Lala or potentially Khalil, who we haven't seen in a while, and we know that he was in cahoots with with Tobias. So that should be interesting to see if that's, who his unexpected source is. After a battle of epic proportions, Anissa and Jennifer provide surprising aid. So what I think is going to happen here is Anissa and Jennifer are going to help their dad in this fight with Tobias, because we know that Jennifer has the power to create energy, and Jefferson, kind of just sucks the electricity from around him. So if Jennifer is in the area where he's battling, he can essentially pull infinite electricity from her and to charge himself up and to, create his blast and whatever and whatnot. So that should be interesting to see if that's going to occur. Just some quick updates. Next week's episode, episode 12, is the second to last episode of season 1. And yesterday we did get official word that Black Lightning has been renewed for season 2. So Black Lightning will be back next season. I'd be interested to see if they're going to keep it as a mid-season show and have it premiere in January again next year, or if they're going to bring it back in the fall. And also, I would be interested to see if they're going to increase the episode number to possibly 18 episodes like Legend of Tomorrow is, or maybe even giving it a full season order of 23 episodes like Flash and Arrow have been given the past couple or throughout their run. As always, guys, follow me on social media. Happy Tuesday. Let's talk.